Hello, everyone. I'm having a rough go of it right now, and not that it matters because I'm obviously commenting on someone else's life on the internet. So, this is part 2 of us reviewing a podcast about it's a relationship podcast. It's a happy couple spotlight. It is highlighting happy couples and what they are doing to basically win at their relationship. And Aviram and Jessie Lee Ward were picked for the podcast. And I had a lot to snark about it yesterday. I stopped the podcast a lot. We only got through 20 minutes. And I think that I'm just having to come to terms with the quirks on my channel are probably here to stay. I'm reasonable in that I'll take critique. I'm a little Just some of the commentary, obviously, I get it. I'm a public figure. It's a twisty thing. I want to say this. I'm not trying to be the morality police. I'm literally not. I'm not trying to say I'm so much better than Jessie Lee Ward and Aviram that I have something to say about the situation. I'm saying that months and months and months, we've seen Jessie Lee poke and poke and poke at Avi's wife. And if y'all knew the behind the scenes stuff, that's fine. Say what you want about me. I obviously care. But I don't think I'm coming from a place of I'm better than them. I'm mad because of how a family is getting treated by two people who care more about themselves than they do other people. It's going to be a good stream. There's going to be a lot of baby snark. There might be some crying. Before I start, I'm going to share the GoFundMe that the local community surrounded Avi's wife and put a GoFundMe together. Aaron and Julie Joe and other people were kind of helping direct, and Rivka also made sure that the right people set it up so that it all goes to Avi's wife. And I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to keep it pinned and saved. Open in system browser. This is the GoFundMe. You don't have to donate. I'm going to be donating when I get paid. I just got paid by YouTube. I had to take care of a bill. I'm going to donate when I get off stream. I'm sorry that I'm emotional. Yeah, and I know someone closer, but making sure that the right person and the right community surrounds Avi's wife and gets this stuff set up is super important. I'm gonna star my message so that I can keep sharing it. and it'll be over here in the stars, and I'll be able to copy it and I think I'll be able to copy it and I'll just keep it open and resend it to everybody. And oh, are you going to do this again? Are we going to focus? It says, help mom of 3 to stand on her feet. Dana Levi is the one that's organizing the fundraiser. I think she's the one that's local in the community. It said, hi, we are a group of moms from Los Angeles reaching out to help a friend from our community because we are worried she is about to collapse in the unfortunate situation she was forced into. This beautiful, strong mom discovered this past February that her husband is living with another woman for over 9 months. He lied to her about building a life for her, his wife, and their 3 children. We are following this story since the other woman is a public figure and knows the delicate situation of her boyfriend, that he is married and a father of 3 kids, 7, 5, and 2, and yet continues to publish on social media the affair with the husband of our dear friend. This mom stood up on her feet, started a new job, but the struggle of raising kids by herself, working, dealing with social media humiliation, and standing up for her rights in court is too much to handle. The husband is not paying child support or contributing in any way to help the household. Her husband is, and they're saying it, all abusing her emotionally and financially. The husband is refusing to get divorced by the Jewish law, keeping her a guna and not letting her move on with her life while he is living with a different woman in a different state. We are asking for financial support for her so she'll be able to get back on her feet in the coming months and raise her 3 beautiful children. She is worried she won't be able to pay rent, pay her bills, put food on the table, buy diapers, and give the children what they need. We see her every day, dropping kids in school, taking part in school activities, having play dates, working long hours, and doing her best to keep her head up. And we see her cry every night. She has no resources or family near her to help, while the husband has a big family and a wealthy new girlfriend that can support court costs. We need to help this mom and our kids to get through this process and give them a hope since evil came to their home. I think that there are bigger accounts going to be doing a stream. I don't want you to give if you don't feel comfortable giving. I think that $1 counts, and don't think that a small what you think a small drop in the bucket as a collective group of people, we can stand up for someone who's being harmed by two other people. We can stand up for someone and her children. I'm sorry I'm crying. I'm going to keep trying to post. Let me put the GoFundMe in Nightbar real quick. I'm just going to put a custom command in. I'm just going to put it under Go. Paste. I'm going to donate right now. You don't have to tip for GoFundMe services. You can put that all the way down at 0. I'm not telling you what you have to do. If it's $1, I don't know if it allows for 50 cents. You can make a big impact with lots of smaller things. Donating to her. Hopefully my PayPal isn't going to be an asshole. Click to continue. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to just do Apple Pay. All right. I'm just dinged. I donated. Thank y'all if you've donated already. We're going to listen to this shit show of a podcast. I'm going to try not to cry the whole time. People have tried to reach out to this podcast host, and she hasn't gotten to her DMs. She hasn't posted about the picture of Avi and Jessie Lee. She posted one reshare from Jessie Lee, and she's been relatively silent all day because I've been getting screenshots of people texting me or sending me stuff in my Instagram of people telling her who she interviewed wasn't someone to highlight. And if there's any mods in here, you can type in exclamation capital G capital O, and you can link the GoFundMe. Hi, Holly. And I appreciate it. Don't let other people or your own voices in your mind. And if you can't if you can't afford it, don't give. Don't put that on yourself to put yourself in a tight spot. But also, I follow Sharon Says So a lot, and she believed in the power of people coming together, even if it's 25 cents or 50 cents. And that people, normal, regular people like us, can make a difference. God, I hate crying. Okay. Let me put the power couple on the screen. This is them. Episode 24, The Perfect Adulterous Scandal. This is episode 2 for us. This is not the title of her video. That's actually on the thumbnail. I likely won't be able to listen, but I'll link the GoFundMe periodically. I will hopefully be able to afford it soon. No, you're good. Like, literally, if you cannot, no shade if you can't pay anything. Getting the message out helps. I know that some of this is triggering for so many of you, and understandably. I'm sure there's going to be good moments of snark in this. Why are we doing this? Someone with an incredible amount of influence we have highlighted because of her unethical business practices, unethical recruiting practices, misinformation, and just resoundingly bad health advice. Not just saying what she's doing for herself is wrong, because I believe in body autonomy, but manipulating others to continue to pay in her own pocket and scaring other people with misinformation. And then to also, in the midst of all of that fuckery, to poke and dig and be an asshole to Avi's wife, to claim her children, her Avi's wife, as Jessie Lee's own, to flaunt their adulterous relationship in front of a mom who's trying to keep her kids going and her life together is shitty. And I don't share the same religion. Jessie Lee doesn't impact me. I don't impact her. I don't think. But it doesn't have to just impact my life directly to be able to speak up and say what you're doing to somebody else is wrong. And you don't have to have a huge account to say it either. You don't have to have any account. Speaking up for other people when you can is good. Okay, I'm gonna stop crying eventually. Oh, I run out of Kleenexes. Holy shit. All right, let's go.
3 years, I see it even from day one in our relationship. I'm like, oh, I communicate differently now. I speak to him differently than I've ever spoken to somebody in a relationship. I respect him way more. I see things where I'm like, ooh, I've been triggered in the past by something like this. Hold on a second. And from the day one, I told him, I said, I'm just going to be so upfront with you about all kinds, like everything, because I always in previous relationships would hide little things that I thought, oh, you know, if they know this about me, they're going to judge me. You know, I think that's a really common thing that people think about when they're getting in relationships. And a lot of people in relationships, they have secrets. Mm-hmm. And so from day one, I was telling him everything. I was like, oh yeah, this happened, blah, 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 or this person or this, whatever, or I did this or blah, 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 blah. I was really open so that anytime, my whole concept around that was that if he ran into really good friends of mine, what if my best friend ended up saying something in front of him? And I was like, because I've been in relationships like that. You know, I wanted everything. And he's been transparent too from day one. He told me every single situation. So then even when we had some conflict, not us having conflict, but some outside conflict come in, I was like, I already know that about him. Like he was already open and honest with me from day one. I've been open and honest with him from day one. And I think it made everything a lot easier, because then we had these fortified walls of, well, you can't tell me anything. He told me his deepest, darkest secrets. He knows my deepest, darkest secrets. What are you going to shock me with?
Yeah.
Like,
So this is so good and such gold.
This is such gold. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a mind fuck right now because someone earlier had left a comment about saying, I like your content, but you stop the videos and the podcast too often. You need to let them play more. And I said, no, thank you. There's other people covering this content that, let them play longer. I'm probably not the right channel for you. And they were like, lol, okay. In the twistiness of butting up against Aviram and Jessie Lee and what they're doing to Avi's family, it's hard to process it and comment on it and do it in a way that it communicates something that's not just ad hominem attacking the shit out of them both. I'm sorry I'm crying. This is upsetting. In the way that this podcast host is so gushing over their relationship. They are some gold standard to hold up to all of us after everything that Avi has done, that we heard in the first 20 minutes that he's been on Bumble and he's had multiple interactions with people. And you heard on the GoFundMe, he has a 7-year-old. All the way down to a 2-year-old. He has 3 kids. So logically, you have to process through that he's been on Bumble for a while.
And it is hard for people to do that.
It's hard.
It is, yeah.
I want to say it, okay, because I was one of those that doesn't talk, that doesn't say, that keep it, that and yes, it's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to feel yeah, what if they're gonna judge me? What if they're gonna say that? What if she's gonna say that? But you know what? I learned that just need
Thank you.
shoot and release, just say it and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Say it and after that it's become easier, because if they judge or if they don't like, so that means they doesn't need to be with you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not your person.
It doesn't meant to be, so you
Mm-hmm.
just and if she accepted, sorry, and so, well, we have something to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
we have something to build here.
So did you guys have that conversation ahead of time? Let's be transparent. Or were you just thinking that in your own heads? I'm just going to be me, or did you have that conversation?
Well, I'll answer first, and then I'll let Jessie Lee answer to talk a little bit, because she's not talking at all. I feel like
No, you're great.
I know. Just listen. I felt that in myself that I want to be transparent, and I think also she felt like the same way in the beginning. And as the time goes, we actually talked about it, and also
Thank you.
say each other let's just be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
To hide things as adult is, sorry on my French, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid is not French. Is it? I don't know. I hope that the people who have this story, who are the ones to share the details that fully pull the rug out from from under Avi, from what he just said. I hope that they're able to tell their story, because he is utterly twisting the reality of the situation right now. He is lying right now.
Yeah. We had a conversation at the very beginning where I just said, look, I can do ugly truths. I can do like whatever effed up stuff you have in your past relationships, in your past whatever, in your past life, whatever. I don't care. Just don't ever lie to me. For a couple of reasons. First of all, I just can't stand liars. I don't understand the point. And second of all, his first language is Hebrew. So I was like, I can't, I'm a speed reader. I don't know, too much Jim Quick or something, right? So normal people, not normal people, right? So people, if this is his phone, right? And if something flashes, I can literally go like that and I can read the whole screen in English. I can't read this. This is in Hebrew, So I told him, like, if you lie about anything, the stupidest thing, from day one, we're going to have a problem, because I can't trust, like, I don't know what's happening on there. I can't
control the situation. I can't control you. If he told her, I can't speak on that yet. Dang it.
Verify, no, but we went into it from the beginning, both just saying, look, you're either going to like it or you're not. And I'm just not at a stage in my life anymore. I'm 34 at the time, 33 at the time. I'm comfortable with me. And so I'm at the stage in my life where people either love me or they hate me. And I love me, which I realize is the most important relationship of all relationships. And so I'm not holding anything back. This is just, it's who I am, and you're going to like it or you're not.
And I think that's really hard when people are dating, or they do like somebody. Your natural tendency is to not want to say something that you can be criticized for, or someone's not going to choose you, right? And so I think it's intentional. You need to have some intentionality behind, like, okay, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be myself. But that's so much easier said than done.
Especially since it was not done, because Avi was not himself with his spouse. They can paint whatever picture in this awful podcast. And Traci, I'm sure that Traci doesn't even know who I am, because she hasn't blocked me on social media yet. I would take it as a shortcoming in your credibility as a podcaster and as a professional and as just as a human, that you highlighted these two people. I keep editing myself because I don't want to name call. I don't want to do ad hominem attacks. And I've never wanted to do that more than right now.
It's so much easier said than done.
Oh, and there's been times we've had to share things with each other where we're like, we can both tell, like, we'll feel each other's energy, and I'll say to him, like, just say it. Like, what do you need to say? Especially at the beginning when we weren't quite as comfortable, and especially he wasn't with some big stuff.
Like he's married?
You have to tell me. So just get it off your chest. Mm-hmm. And he'd sit there for a second like, okay. And like I said, he's a communicator. So he'd take a minute and I'm like, come on. Like, okay, blah, and then it'll come out. And it's way healthier to get it up. Yeah, don't throw up on me. But
well, and I also think you said something else that's super important about don't.
So does anyone know where people are adding reviews to the podcast after this episode? Don't see it on Apple Podcasts. Let me find the right Apple Podcasts. So it is, what is it even called? Happy Couple Spotlight. Traci something. Lyfe Reinvented. Oh, did she take it down? No, she didn't. It's still here. So that's not on Apple Podcasts. Let me look. It's called Lyfe Reinvented. It's on Spotify for sure. It's on iHeartRadio. It is Lyfe Reinvented. I don't think they're on Apple. Unless the incredible Jessica can help me out. They're on Spotify. Let me look on Apple Podcasts. Okay, got it. Lyfe Reinvented. She is on Apple. She is the Jessie Lee and Aviram is there. Copy link. Here it is. Here's the Apple Podcast. Apple Podcasts. Just for my own ethics, I'm listening to the whole thing before I leave my scathing review. Here's the Apple Podcast. I have the same mindset about leaving reviews on Herbalife shops. If you haven't been there, that's just me, and from a marketing perspective, I'm going to listen all the way through, and I'm going to leave the review of a lifetime on every single platform. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to use Twitter the way Twitter is meant to be used, which is in a professional business setting, and we're going to go through that together if y'all want to. I love that, Daisy. I'm sorry, I didn't want to name call, but I've just got a little furious. I meant no disrespect to you. Oh, it's okay. Thank you, beauty school dropout. Thank you so much. Is there a way to report VP on morality ground? I know they are galaxies away from morality, but still, I don't think so. You run the world. Hi. We've been pushing the GoFundMe link, and I just donated earlier at the beginning of the stream. The mods and Hell Hath No Fury like me with a laptop. I mean, let's go Twitter. Or we'll show. We're gonna have a Twitter moment. I will just tell you that right now. Oops, I was on the wrong one. And I downloaded the podcast because I had a feeling she was gonna delete it, and so I am playing this through my my iTunes, whatever, play library.
Lie, because if there's one lie, and I think this is with online dating too, a lot of people lie in their profiles, their age, their height, whatever various lies that people tell. And if there's a lie, then now you're setting yourself up for questions on everything going forward because they caught you in one lie. So there's another thing that just needs to be an organizing principle for anybody that's looking for forever love. Really put in the time to know who you are, so someone else can't make you right or wrong. You are just being you.
Do you think that Avi's wife thought that she had a forever love? And I think, yes, she is better off without his toxicness. But we read the description from the GoFundMe. To allegedly, and I say allegedly to protect myself from being sued, but I'll just say it to abandon your spouse and couch surf while you are refusing a get. Shame on you. Shame on you. People lie about their marital status.
And the piece of the lying is so important. I think that it'll ruin it. It'll ruin it.
I like that. There's no right or wrong. There's just you. I'm writing it down. I like it.
Yeah.
I liked it, Traci.
Do you guys know each other's love language? I have to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you know? Why do I know your love language? What happened?
It's the first
It sounds like she is talking to a child.
thing. Like literally the first week. No, there is a questionnaire. A questionnaire.
Hey, listen, that's us personal development people. That's what we do.
When she made him do a genetic test as well, was that part of the full like onboarding process for your boyfriend?
Yes, that's what we do. Please take this strength finder.
A questionnaire. It's only take 5 minutes.
Yep.
It's like I felt like
I got it, but Aaron and Julie Joe are gonna be doing it, so I wanted to let them like have the most impact with it, if that makes sense.
I felt like I called to an internet service and she wants a survey. Literally what? And it's 5 simple question or 7 questions.
5lovelanguages.com, and then there's just I don't know
How many
maybe
questions?
So this lady of this podcast used to be some highly associated, I think the vice president of Tony Robbins' organization. And she was also part of a multi-level marketing company. Someone in the chat, and forgive me for not remembering who it was, did a deep dive on it and gave us the information. And if you don't know who Tony Robbins is, be thankful. So I'm assuming that she knew who Jessie Lee Ward is because Jessie Lee Ward has an in with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins' twisty book about childhood trauma and getting a full body MRI is why she even found out she had cancer in the first place.
maybe 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 50.
I mean, it's super simple, like this or that, this or that, this or that.
Yeah.
But I think that, Jessie Lee, what was your intent behind that? Why did you ask him to take it?
Because you're a control
because
freak.
I taught him about it afterwards. But I did. I talked to him.
The way that she demeans him, I'm not defending him. I'm saying that both of them are toxic. Both of the way that they view people, that they view other people is toxic. And the way that she views people is toxic. And the way that Avi treats people is toxic. And the way that Jessie Lee Ward treats people is toxic. And it's more than toxic, but toxic is the best word that I can use right now without getting myself in trouble with YouTube's terms and conditions.
Through it afterwards because I explained to him the way the 5 love languages are is it's the same as Russian, Chinese, Hebrew, English, and French. If you speak 5 different languages and then you're trying to speak French to the person who speaks Hebrew or Chinese to the person who speaks English, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's important that I know how to love him and that he knows how to love me because otherwise he could be doing things that he thinks are showing me love. Like he could be touching me all the time, or he could be showering me in words of affirmation all the time.
Good point, Elizabeth.
And those are 2 actual really good examples because his love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation. And I'm over here.
No shit. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Misses quality time and acts of service, being driven crazy. Like this guy, what? He's not even spending any time with me. He doesn't even, he's never here or whatever. And
he's never here because he has a family in California. What is? Oh God, I'm so mad. How can you even be speaking? And this is just me asking a question. It's not me asking, oh, did I drop this? God dang it. I dropped my stream deck and it's dented. It's okay. I wouldn't even say I have good opinions about what a healthy marriage is like. I know what a healthy marriage looks like because of my parents. And if y'all have heard Excal talk, he's very reasonable, and we don't agree about everything, but if you're talking about like a good person, Excal and my mom are good people. And some of the stuff she's saying makes sense, but the way she's talking about it is a means of control and molding her partner into someone that serves her needs. It's just twisty.
And we've had conversations about, he's giggling because I'm so quality time. I don't care about quantity.
I'm smiling.
I know, giggling, yeah, smiling, yeah. I don't care about the quantity of time. I want quality time. So the Apple Watch drives me fucking crazy because it ruins my quality time. The stupid thing buzzes when we're supposed to be together, right? We've had discussions where I'm like, leave the phone. You're putting the watch away. Leave the phone in the house when we're walking the dogs, please, because I want a dog walk and you're still doing work at 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, there's no quality time, but for him, he's like, we're holding hands.
Sorry, this is your first. I'm happy that this is your first live. I'm sorry that it's kind of a downer. This is a tough situation to cover. I'm nervous to cover it. There's a lot of perspectives on it. There's a lot of feedback I've been getting privately in DMs and on the comments on the first video. And I feel a lot of things. I'm glad you're here. Not only did he take Jessie Lee made him take the love language quiz, she made him take a genetic test. They both took it. So they could do all the percentages of where they were from because she cares about that. Not in a way of like, oh, what's interesting, as a way to lord over that she has a more percentage of Jewish whatever. I think she said a Jewish percentage of her nationality or something than Avi did. If someone can refresh like the exact phrasing of it, but she continued to say it over and over and over it again in every single live.
Like I grabbed your butt 73 times today. I told you how beautiful you are. I'm like, I know I'm beautiful. Okay. And so otherwise you're going to end up having just conflict that's unnecessary. And so same thing for him. When I know he's maybe stressed out, I'll write him love notes he doesn't know this, but whatever. I buy a ton of cards. And then on days where I know that he's stressed out, this makes more sense now why there's always cards, right? I'll write him a really long card and I'll leave it somewhere. I'll hide love notes places and stuff. And it makes his whole day a million times better. And especially if I'm leaving somewhere, I'll hide, little notes and things. So, a day later or something, he might find them and he'll feel appreciated. And long text messages when I travel, giving him words, right? Because it means so much to him. And then he'll do stuff like, he'll send me a photo. Oh, I walking the dogs, or and I'm like, acts of service, and it just.
You have people to walk the dog. You pay people to walk the dogs. You pay people to, you have a house manager. You have a staff. You have trained professionals to walk your dogs. Why am I being picky about this? Because he abandoned his family and he's trying to do things to get in the good graces of Jessie Lee Ward. He's walking dogs when he could be spending time with his kids.
It makes your relationship a lot stronger instead of trying to just play guessing games.
Just set expectation, right? Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail square on the head with those things. Like if someone has their phone or their watch and you're the quality time person, that's not quality time. And you're going to end up fighting if you don't.
This is Courtney Shortney. This is from a live we reacted to the other day where he was making that face and I just took a screenshot and then I put it in the pixelated heart. And then Courtney was still behind him. So just as a reminder, I do not alter like people's faces on my thumbnails. I just try to screenshot, and I will put them through an interpolation software if they're too low quality to help increase the resolution, but I don't like make their eyes bigger or their mouths like frowny. I did put Brian Underwood's, one of his faces on his actual body for a thumbnail, but I don't distort people as a personal like choice that I do.
Don't understand, and you may fight about it anyway, whatever, however you want to deem fighting, but you are able to express why it doesn't feel good to you, and the other person can hear you.
Yeah.
So it really is conflict resolution.
Correct. And I've used it in business for so long too. I find out business partners love languages so that they feel appreciated. And really the goal of it was just from the beginning, once I realized pretty quickly, oh, this is going to be serious. I don't send 5 love languages to everyone I go on a date with, but after a couple of weeks, I'm like, I want to make sure he always feels appreciated. And so, that's why I do it.
Yeah. I need to put Rivka in. Let me just do this really quickly because I keep forgetting. I didn't. I was doing a tutorial video earlier, but I was waiting for my interview. So I just keep forgetting. Add command. ! Rivka. Y'all don't use it yet until I grab Rivka's YouTube. Rivka. If you type in Rivka Sampson, it will come up and it's her first video. You'll see it right on the home screen, but love for you to sub to her. She's just about to hit 200 subs. Subscribe to Rivka Sampson. Here. Okay. All right. Rivka is up and running for so Jaybird, here is Rivka's link for y'all. My ex-husband cheated for 20 years, even on my wedding night. I left one night in 2015 with the kids and never looked back. I'm here to say karma is amazing. No one deserves that, especially the kids. If I had a dog, I would need to quit my job because I would have to spend every second with him. I can barely stand to leave my cat alone, even though I know she can handle it. I get that. And Rivka is sending you lots of love and care. Rivka just lost 2 of her floofs within 24 hours of each other.
Yeah,
Love it.
I mean, bottom line, relationship, it's work, it's business. I mean, if you look at it in, it's not like business, but it's like the same effort and the same build and the same work that effort that you put in a business, you also put in a relationship, of course, in a different way. But this is, and I think we both are business people, so.
Yeah. And I would encourage anybody listening that if you have not done the 5 love languages to absolutely do that.
Yeah.
You can do it.
It's probably because I think that I'm not doing a good job moderating and making this more of a, normally I like to do videos where we can dilute the information. I think this is so like twisty and hard to process because we're in the middle of 2 people lying to a podcaster not even being willing to ask deeper questions. They're highlighting 2 people that are so twisty. And in my opinion, Avi has harmed his family so much, and that Jessie Lee has poked so much at Avi's wife, and the things that she has said about his kids is just awful. And I think like I'm so emotional about it. I think that I'm probably adding to others' anxiety in the chat, and I'm really sorry. So if y'all need to hop out, always take care of your mental health. Hop out, like anyone here is more important than a view on a video. If you want to listen to the podcast, it's from Lyfe Reinvented, and listen to it and leave a review and let the author know, the podcaster know, what negative impact this has had. You may be able to do activism that way.
I did it with my son. There's one for kids, teenagers. You learn so much about a person. There's one for if you're single, there's one if you're in a relationship, and then have that discussion. When I gave it to my son, he was like 10, I think. And I was asking him the questions because I wanted to hear how his brain worked. So it was like, would you rather this or that? And then he would say, I don't really like either one of those. Or, I like both of those. That's so hard. So you end up just learning in all relationships in your life how to collaborate better, show love better. I'm a huge, huge fan. So can we switch gear to challenges?
Sure.
Switch gear to challenges. One thing I want to ask, because Avi, you just said this, like, how do you come into the relationship, like, I'm not really a social media guy. You stepped right into the middle of like everything that Jessie Lee's world is about, right?
And Jessie Lee stepped into Avi's fuckery. I want to make this clear, because there's a comment, and I know that I said this last stream, but I want to make this abundantly clear. I'm not saying that Jessie Lee Ward is a homewrecker. I'm not participating in the misogyny of always villainizing the woman for being the person that, made the man straight. No. Avi is a serial cheater, in my opinion, based on what he said in the first 20 minutes of this podcast. And in my opinion, Jessie Lee has done awful things to twist and manipulate and poke and just be utterly mean and lacking compassion to Avi's wife with what she said on lives. We've covered so many lives in depth, and the way she's behaved is so in contradiction to what she calls her core value, which she thinks is kindness. They're both behaving in everyone's an adult. They're both behaving. I hope that this brings attention for this podcast, or not to highlight this behavior. I hope that this information or this podcast helps Avi's wife in court. I hope that we can continue to spread the GoFundMe that the people in her community have set up to give that money to her so that she can continue to take care of her kids.
How do you do that? How do you adjust to that? Do you feel resentful about it ever?
Like, another word for resentful is like, do you feel like, like that's kind of annoys me, or I don't like that, or
no, I don't have a problem with that.
or like other people giving me a lot of attention or something like that could cause resentment.
No, I don't feel like that. I have this like a small shy person, that's why I don't like to be on social media, but
I'm glad that you were able to be with
the way I see it is I just let it be, and and just let her do whatever she been doing. It I didn't come to change it, I came from a different thing. I didn't come to change what she's doing on a daily basis. I came to change the private life, like So, I mean,
the private life where you're married and you're still married legally and religiously in California, and that you haven't given your wife a get yet, and you haven't gotten divorced, and you're I'm just like hearing Courtney Shepherd in the back of my mind and her talking about being positive and like participating in negative things on the internet and all this stuff. And it's like dealing with twisty shit is messy sometimes. I feel bad for Avi's wife. And I feel bad for his kids.
I just separated from the beginning. I think that's the way. That's what really happened. Like I literally separated. Like do whatever you need to do, but when you don't do, just don't do, and it's just be together, and that's it.
And I think that from my perspective of that, it's an intentionality with me as well. So this is the most important relationship in my life. So as much as I produce social media content and I'm selling on social media, or I'm recruiting on social media, or I'm building the coaching business on social media, or I'm doing live videos on social media, or I'm doing whatever, he will always come first. So there's no disrespecting the relationship.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I would say that I cover Beachbody, I cover iGenius, I cover Monet, I cover Modair, I cover Optavia, I cover iBoomerang, I cover so many companies. I cover what's it called? I don't even remember. Common Sense Wellness Worldwide. Their logo is like $1.01 sign combined. I cover Young Living. I cover doTERRA. I cover a lot of companies, and unfortunately, I cover a lot of this. Prove It. And the person who has all the details on this are Julie Joe and Aaron Bees. Aaron Bees was one of the original 14 or 13 that came from Modair to Prove It. And then people started dropping off. And so Jessie Lee Ward kept saying, then she said, no, not original 13, original this, original 8, whatever. And Aaron Bees was part of that. So if you want to know the twisty story of Jessie Lee from firsthand experience, you can go to Aaron Bees' channel, ERINBIES. I started covering her podcast because I thought that being able to debunk what she was saying with her own words, what she was saying now, debunking it with her own words in her podcast last year, I thought that was a way to do it without stepping into the ad hominem category. And I used to follow Jessie Lee Ward when I was in Mary Kay as someone who I thought was authentic and able to help me figure out how to do business. And then as I learned more about her, the rose-colored glasses basically came off. And then after I ended up leaving Young Living last year in April, I realized what a twisty situation this was. So I do cover Prove It a lot. I cover her as an influencer a lot. I cover her misinformation campaign as someone who has gotten sucked up into alternative misinformation stuff, and that harmed my health. Because she has a lot of influence. She can influence people, and that is why one of the reasons I choose to cover her. And how she has treated Avi's wife is another reason.
You know, if he wanted to see something, which he's never been like, who's that person or something, but that's because I'm not disrespectful. There's no reason for him to feel like that. I would say, oh, here, total transparency. You can look at it. You can see whatever. And I don't live on social media. So the amount of time that I spend on social media it's so systematic. I'm just weaponized on social media that it may look like I'm online for 18 hours a day. I'm not. And because I'm quality time, when he's here, my phone is face down. My phone is not here. But Saturdays, I'm pretty much not touching my phone at all. I'm really good at being off of my phone. And I think some people, they get so addicted and obsessed with social media. And obviously I
don't think so. Let me try. Back. Paste. Nope. Let me fix it. Hold on. Sorry, I think I messed it up. I'm editing it. Did I shorten it? Cancel. Copy. Paste. There we go. It's shortened now. It's a short GoFundMe link. Here we go. I fixed it. Let's try it. I'm going to click it. Live. I shortened the link, so hopefully that works. I'm going to try to click on it on my end, or if a mod can. There we go. That's short. The shortened link works. I think this is better too. Y'all have a good night's sleep. Holly, thanks for being here. I hope you rest well.
And so blessed to meet so many of my followers and fans and friends and business partners and things like that on social. But if at any point in time he ever felt disrespected by either my actions or maybe a follower or whatever, there's only one person who's ever asked me to block, and I did block them.
There's only one person he's asked me to block, and I did block them.
But I would, because I think that some people get it a little twisted sometimes. There's a lot that's real about social media, but the reality is he has Jessie Lee. He doesn't have Boss Lee. He's not dating Boss Lee. And
I love that.
Online get Boss Lee a lot. They get the loud, boisterous, silly, extroverted, sometimes person. That is never who he sees. He doesn't have that person ever. I would say 99.9% of the time, he doesn't have that person.
Okay.
So two things what you just said, and I think it's gold that Avi said he didn't come to change you, and I think that should be everybody.
I know I'm behind on the comments, but I wanted to shorten the link so that this is better for everyone. Oh God, Lynn, good luck. Okay, sorry. I know I was behind. I'm sorry.
Everybody's mantra, if you're stepping into a relationship, that you should have no expectations of changing somebody else. You should have that and an appreciation for who they are. Of course, a voice if there's somebody that is you feeling disrespectful and there's something there, of course. But saying I didn't come here to change your gold. Love that. And touching on what you just said there, Jessie Lee, about the Boss Lee versus Jessie Lee. So let's talk about energies for a minute, because masculine and feminine energies are a big deal when you're trying to have a relationship that's forever.
What about, are you saying, what are you talking about? Masculine and feminine energy? Colleen, I think, was talking about this. Obviously Jessie Lee was talking about it. She's talked about it for years. What do you mean? Hi, Lynn. I hope you're doing okay. My friend and my ex had an affair and he disowned our children. However, they are still together, so maybe they are happy. Screwed us all up big time, but hey ho. I'm sorry that happened to you around the world. That's awful. I don't know. Maybe.
Yes.
And you need the polarities. Tell me about how that plays because you're both successful, right? So you're both type A, you're both successful. How do you manage the masculine versus feminine energy?
Do you want to start? You want me to?
You start and I'll continue.
Okay.
Good night, Pam.
So in my work life, I am very masculine. So I am the driver of all my businesses.
What are you talking about? Does she not realize that there are incredible minds of like all different types of people that operate in all different types of energies that are not just like, oh, I'm this way, I'm this energy, or only these energies work together? It's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is just an eye roll for me. She is playing into this idea that this masculine or men are better than women. And then there was the additional conversation of the dynamic spectrum of genders as well. For this conversation specifically, her idea at the base level to me makes me think that she has this subconscious or maybe conscious idea that she thinks that men are inherently better than women. And so she has to tell people that she has this masculine energy, and that is why she is so successful. And then she has this feminine energy, and that's why she is such a good catch. You can be any gender and be intelligent. You can be any gender and be a leader. You can be any gender, or like not even a specific one. I'm trying to say like the spectrum of humanity. You can be a good person, and it doesn't have one iota to do with what type of energy you classify yourself as.
I operate as founder and CEO. I make all decisions about everything. Final say comes to me through any and all things. And so any investment opportunities, anytime somebody sidesteps me, anytime I'm disrespected, legal things, you get a really aggressive, super alpha female who is not here to mess around with anything. I'm not to be messed with. Period. Like I should scare some people more. Like if people really knew the kinds of things I could do behind the scenes, they would be terrified. I'll just kind of leave it at that. So, but that's because I have to be, you're running multiple multi-million-dollar businesses and expanding portfolio.
Yep. I'm showing that there's $2,621 in the GoFundMe, and the goal is $50,000. And I think that Aaron and Julie Joe are going to be having a stream at some point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through the podcast all the way tonight. We'll continue to share it. Hi, Rutro. Hello. I hope you have a good night. Good night. High heels were a male thing for so much of history. Yep. Seriously, I seriously cannot believe this woman is doing this podcast. It's so disgusting. I literally need a shower. Yep. Yeah, it's so twisty. Like, I don't get it. Hi, Regis. I'm thinking she has the men are leaders, men are business people, men are successful, blah, blah, blah. That is why she doesn't want to be called a boss babe. She's bossly. That she is, she is not downgraded because she doesn't want to be identified as what she perceives subconsciously that women are not equal to men. And then she doesn't even take into the consideration the spectrum of everything else.
Of all kinds of, I just have to be. But I actually used to take that into relationships. I don't know if I told you about this before, Traci, but when I did Tony Robbins Elite coaching with the, life coaching, I don't remember her name anymore, but my life coach, I think this is 8 years ago. I was like, why do I attract these super beta males, like these submissive beta males? And she said, look at how you speak to men. Like, look at how you present yourself.
Your first husband was not a beta male. He was in the military and served his country in a very dangerous job. And I know many people feel many different ways about the military. I'm saying that specifically the part where you are in a job, when you deploy and you can not come home, that is a meaningful sacrifice. I'm not trying to make a political statement that every single war that the United States has been involved in has been good. I don't want to comment on that. I'm saying that she twists history.
You're scary. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Type A women, listen up here, because this is super important.
It changed my life. So I said, what are you talking about? I'm not scary. Like, I want somebody to take care of me. I want a protector. And I was listing out all these things. And she said, okay, but that man is never going to date you because you're not a safe space for them. You don't like, women are supposed to hold, and you don't hold, you dominate.
Oops, I messed that up. Sorry. I messed that up. Sorry.
Feel resentful about it ever?
It's an intentionality with me as well. So
just let it be, and
I don't know where I'm supposed to be.
Just let her do whatever she been doing. That I didn't come to change it,
Did we listen to this?
From a different.
Ask, because Avi, you just said this, like, how do you handle, you come into the relationship, like, I'm not really a social media guy. You stepped right into the middle of like everything that Jessie.
I'm trying to get to the part.
I don't feel like that. I have this like a small shy person, that's why I don't like the private life. Like,
media, or I'm doing live videos on social media. It's systematic. I'm just weaponized on social media, whatever. And I don't live on social media. So the amount of time that I spend on social media it's so systematic. I'm just weaponized on social media.
I'm trying to find the part. I'm sorry. I just went to the next thing. I made a mistake. Women are supposed to do and be whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, they're all into that. Jessie Lee's into that. Veronica Bay's starting to talk about that and say that everyone should be that way. I don't know where we are. I am trying to find the spot where we're at. Can y'all just like, Jessica, can you text, like, message me or something? Thank you. I don't know where I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to have a breakdown.
That it may look like I'm online for 18 hours a day. I'm not. And because I'm quality time, when he's here, my phone is face down.
Okay,
my phone
so
is
we
not
already passed this
boisterous, silly, extroverted, sometimes person. That is never who he sees. He doesn't have that person ever. Well, I would say 99.9% of the time he doesn't have that person.
So two things what you just said, and I think it's gold that Avi said he didn't come to change you, and I think that should be everybody's mantra. If you're stepping into a relationship, that you should have no expectations of changing somebody else. You should have that and an appreciation for who they are. Of course, a voice if there's somebody that is you feeling disrespectful and there's something there, of course. But saying I didn't come here to change your gold. Love that. And touching on what you just said there, Jessie Lee, about the boss Lee versus Jessie Lee. So let's talk about energies for a minute, because masculine and feminine energies are a big deal when you're trying to have a relationship.
Okay, sorry, will you just listen to that? I'm just going to let it keep playing.
That's forever.
Yes.
And you need the polarities. Tell me about how that plays, because you're both successful, right? So you're both type A, you're both successful. How do you manage the masculine versus feminine energy?
Do you want to start? You want me to?
You start and I'll continue.
Okay. So in my work life, I am very masculine. So I am the driver of all my businesses. I operate as founder and CEO. I make all decisions about everything. Final say comes to me through any and all things. And so any investment opportunities, anytime somebody sidesteps me, anytime I'm disrespected, legal things, you get a really aggressive, super alpha female who is not here to mess around with anything. I'm not to be messed with.
What about when Dominic Izzo calls you a derogatory name and you are meek and submissive on his podcast? You know, and when you say that people who talk about cancer patients deserve, you specifically, all of us online who are commenting on the unethical part of you scaring people to make money in your multi-level marketing company with your diagnosis, and then steering people onto a path that actually has life-altering consequences that we deserve to be arred in hell for all of eternity with a fire poker. I don't know which person you are. And then you can laugh about that. And that you say you're some kind of boss person. There are intelligent, strong people that don't buy into this bullshit of masculine or feminine energy, and they're good leaders and they're communicators. Not communicators like they're talking about, but they have a good rapport with their team, and they give clear expectations for the job requirements, and that they can help create an effective and positive environment where people can work together and do more as a team than they could do even separately. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I feel like this is just getting worse and worse. Good night, Wendy. Good to see you. I need to message you. I've been having a rough go of it. It's good to see you. Send me the link to the stream. Which stream? This one? I'm in eCamp, so it's a little bit harder. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna take a couple deep breaths.
period. Like I should scare some people more. Like if people really knew the kinds of things I could do behind the scenes, they would be terrified. I'll just kind of leave it at that. So, but that's because I have to be, you're running multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, and expanding portfolios of all kinds of, I just have to be. But I actually used to take that into relationships. I don't know if I told you about this before, Traci, but when I did Tony Robbins Elite coaching with the, life coaching, I don't remember her name anymore, but my life coach, I think this is 8 years ago. I was like, why do I attract these super beta males, like these submissive beta males? And she said, look at how you speak to men. Like, look at how you present yourself. You're scary. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Type A women, listen up here, because this is super important.
It changed my life. So I said, what are you talking about? I'm not scary. Like, I want somebody to take care of me. I want to protect her. And I was listing out all these things. And she said, okay, but
Cam, I haven't figured out how to be able to listen to something and not have it echo out. So I would totally invite you on. I'm just being, I should have done this on StreamYard so I could have tagged someone in to cover the rest of it. Y'all, Karina literally is amazing. And if you don't know who she is, this is her channel link.
That man is never going to date you because you're not a safe space for them. You don't women are supposed to hold, and you don't hold, you dominate. And I said, well, yeah, that's just who I am. She goes, no, you need to learn to separate these two worlds. And she said, you just got to get softer. And she asked me, who are you listening to for personal development at the time? And I started listing off. I was like, oh, I love listening to Andy Frisella, who, of course, now we're really good friends. So I'm kind of like, whoopsies. And I was like, I listen to Andy Frisella and I listen to Grant Cardone. And she's like, turn it all off. So you need to start listening to softer things, soft music. I want flowers in your house all the time. I want candles burning. You need to take baths. You need to be in flowy clothing. Why are you always in all black every time we meet? I would always wear black all the time. I was like, it's my color. And she just said, you just need to learn how to calm down your nervous system so that you open up the ability for a strong masculine presence to come in, because the masculine balances the feminine and the feminine balances the masculine. And both people have both of these energies inside of them. So in my business world, I can be bossy all day long, handle all the business, be really dominant. And then when it comes to us, as soon as I see him, I'm just,
Were you, when you were being snarky to him about the box when he brought up the air cleaner and he snapped at you and said that he can read? Was it the other day when we were looking at this live specifically, when you were glaring at Courtney and Avi having off-camera conversations that didn't include you, and then you were glaring at Courtney when she was talking, when you asked her to talk, and that she was taking up time on the camera that you didn't like, and that when Avi was going to go off the camera, you literally grabbed his arm and pulled him back onto the screen? Was that the soft, feminine person we're talking about?
My job is to be baby girl. It's not to be, I'm supposed to be a princess. I'm not supposed to be the person who has to handle all of the things. He gets really aggressive and dominant when I chill out, in anything. If there's a situation where somebody's being rude or disrespectful, he steps in, he gets to be the angry King Corso or something like that. But that's because his masculine energy is really strong. So he created a safe space for me through showing up in masculine ways for me.
So he showed up for you in strong masculine ways, but I guess maybe that person didn't show up for his wife and his kids, huh?
Making decisions. He doesn't say, hey, babe, where do you want to go for dinner? He tells me where we're going to dinner. I don't want to make decisions like this. Right?
Oh, and also when you had your boundaries about not drinking alcohol and he said, oh, just do one shot. And you're like, okay, I'll do one shot. Oh, do 2 shots. Okay, I'll do 2 shots. No, do 3 shots. Okay, I'll do 3 shots. 4 shots. Okay, I'll do 4 shots. You're talking about someone who's steamrolling you. When you're in a partnership, when you respect each other, regardless of whatever odd ideals you have about feminine and masculine energy, if someone doesn't respect you or respect your boundaries, what the hell? You're looking for some, caveman-esque type of person that's going to, like, lose it when someone's being disrespectful to you, when there may be a way to have a conversation with someone that redirects and diffuses a situation. You're saying that person isn't a great partner to have. That there's not a back and forth, a dynamic that sometimes you can take the weight of the stress and help navigate the relationship when, your partner's having a rough time and going back and forth, and more of a type of, like, I don't know what they're trying to say. I love that we're talking about snacks in the chat. I'm going to link the GoFundMe again.
Right? We're taking this car. We're going to this place. We're doing this thing. Here's what's happening. Wear this. You know what? And it just makes me and my feminine feel a lot safer and softer. And so, he leads, I follow. In the business world, I lead. He leads in his business. We come home. I'm in the feminine role, and I love it here.
Oh my gosh. I have to recap a couple of things because, again, what you just said is absolute gold. And I see so much in my matchmaking business where the women are the type A.
No fucking way. She has a matchmaking business. Oh, we're going to snark the hell on that. Traci? Traci? Traci. Matchmaking. Whoops. I'm gonna do some digging on that.
And they come in and they attract exactly what you just said, the beta male, and then they get pissed that that's what's happening, and it spirals down and you don't get out of it. And also the men just know, like, men, please plan the date. Please plan the date. Yes. Don't have the women make the decision. It's not helpful, especially to women that are busy.
Oh, so I guess this type of matchmaking service is only when it's only recognizing male-female relationships. Oh, gotcha. Clears everything up for me. I'm way behind. I know I'm way behind. Oh, I see now. So basically we need to go back to the 1920s to have the perfect relationship. Indeed. Yep. Oh my God.
In business, to have to make more decisions, it's like, just make the decision. Really makes a big difference.
If I have to make a decision, we will do nothing because I'm so overstimulated. I think that's an ADHD thing. I get like a lot of sensory stuff, especially after a day of stimulation on videos or cameras or whatever.
She just said earlier that she was so streamlined and she was so effective with all of her online marketing content that it was so, like, in and out. She wasn't on it all day long. And then now we're overstimulated from all of the working of the online things. Does she not remember what she said 5 minutes ago? I'm confused.
If he's like, well, if he were to come in and say, I don't know, what do you want to do? I'd be like, absolutely nothing. We're going to bed. Like, literally, there's been a couple times where I'm like, we're doing nothing. We're going to bed because you asked. He's like,
I
babe,
love
it's
it
only
when-
9:00. I'm like, great. Grandma Lee is in the house. If you said we were going somewhere, we go, but it really is important. And so you have, not only do men need to lead, but women need to allow them to lead. I
Absolutely.
think that's important. But yeah, men, don't ask super.
Women need men to allow men to lead. So what about and I'm just using this as an example, when I don't know, you have a CEO of a Fortune 500 company who is a woman or even non-binary. I don't know. Or let's say you're in the military and you have someone who is at the top rank, whether it's in the Navy or the Army or whatever, and they're not a guy. Huh? What? How does that make sense? I'm just not. If I know the right answer, I don't need to wait for somebody else to tell me to do it because it's, I need to be quiet or submissive in a relationship. I know how to do shit. I don't need help with some things, and I do need help with other things. I'm more crafty. I like doing renovation projects. I like drywalling. I like floor installation. I like tiling. I like I don't know. Like, I've done that in the last several houses that we've been in. And when I had my health, I really enjoyed doing that. And I don't necessarily, it's not all like you got to do it together. And some people don't like that at all. I don't need help making decisions doing that stuff. I just like doing it myself. Or we, like, when my husband was still here, we like doing other things together. And we like, it's not, I don't know. This is just so freaking twisty. I hate to drag this out. I'm going to let it play for another 5 minutes we're going to get to 50 minutes in and then we'll cut it for the night.
Feminine questions like that if you're looking to lead a household.
And I also think what your coach told you is brilliant as well, because if you are a woman that has awareness that you want to be more in your feminine, you're attracting beta males. And if that is something that's important to you, make sure if you're going to a date after work, like, go home, take a shower, listen to the music, put the flowers out. Like, I had someone make a vision board of all like feminine things, like put that vision board up that would just said, I'm feminine. Here I am. So you can tap into that when you know you're in your masculine. You just have to know. Now, did you do the work of stepping into your feminine and then you attracted him first, right? You didn't come in with that energy.
That was those 3 years. Okay. I mean, when I look at even the people that I would, date casually for a month or something like that.
She attracted, my little crochet hook. You attracted Aviram? You attracted somebody who was serially cheating on his marriage. You attracted him with your newfound feminine energy. I have a mat that I am stabbing with my crochet hook as I am talking. I'm raging.
In between there and nothing serious. I mean, I've run off relationships because if my nervous system can't calm down, then it's just not going to work. But there's times, I'd be like, ooh, I'm being triggered. I know how I would respond in the past. And I've said that to him before. Actually, at the beginning of a relationship, I had sent a message about something. And I said, I'm really being triggered in this conversation. I can't continue this conversation right now. Like, I'm not emotionally there. But relationships are hard no matter how you look at it. And that's just how it's going to be. So if you're not willing to do the work, you're not willing to grow, you're not willing to have conversations like that with each other, then, uh-oh.
If you're not willing to follow through and finalize the divorce with your wife, is that another non-personally growing moment, Aviram and Jessie Lee Ward? Who the hell takes matchmaking advice from Traci?
You're probably just going to be complaining about your partner all day long, to your friends and colleagues and anybody who will listen to you complain about how they don't do this and they don't do that. And they disrespect this and blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, both people in a relationship need to do the work.
So Avi, you get to see her in her feminine.
Yeah. Get to see her in feminine, get to see her in masculine, not in the relationship. I see her in business, in coaching, in training, speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, but with us, I'm always soft.
Yeah, always.
Oh,
I love that. And
when you were grabbing him and forcing him to be on camera, that was soft? Or were you being bossy and then that doesn't count as an interaction with him and your feminine because that's on camera? I'm confused. When you,
it's really, really what everything you just said was gold. It's so, so important if you're looking for a forever relationship on both sides. You need the polarity. You need the masculine and feminine. You can't have two men.
Nope.
You can't. You can't. It just doesn't work.
I mean, you legally can in many states. And you can have two women, or you can have non-binary, or you can have all of the spectrum of things. What are you talking about?
So how do you guys handle when you have disagreements or conflict? How do you handle? Do you have like a system, or do you?
We're actually different. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're actually different. First of all, we do a pillow fight. No, I'm just kidding.
She said she's in the feminine energy, but she continues to tell him when he gets to talk. Is that masculine or feminine? I'm confused.
Yeah, why not? I think that's a good solution.
No, well, we talking about it. We literally talking about it. Like we force each other to talk about it, even if the one side doesn't want to talk. And
He's talking about me.
No, really?
Well, no, not always.
No.
Go ahead and keep talking. Sorry.
No, it's like,
What? I'm confused.
like you cut my.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You were saying even if they don't want to talk, even if the other person doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So we give a little bit space, but we make sure to talk about it. Like it's not like passing a long time until we solve it. Like.
Yeah, he is an instant communicator, so this might be something that people listening might have similarities to. He wants to fix it right away. He's a fixer. So if something...
Did he want to fix his marriage when he was serially cheating on his wife through Bumble? And he left his family in California? Was he an instant communicator and fixer in that situation? I think that's a fair question to ask.
Things blown up or something's blown out of proportion, he wants to immediately get on, like if we're in long distance for some reason, because we are a lot of the time, he wants to FaceTime right away. He wants to fix it right away. He wants to, baby, I'm so sorry. He wants to go right back and say, let's fix the problem. Let's love each other.
That Tamul would say sorry. Like, what is that?
Huh?
Sonia Silverston. Hi there, long-time listener, first-time commenting. Hello, I'm glad you're here. But thank you so much for linking Rivka's video. I watched it and it brought so much clarity to the seriousness of the situation. Thank you. And I think I'm so thankful that Rivka made that video. And if you're looking for more understanding about the seriousness of the religious side of the perspective that he is Jewish and his wife is Jewish, and what Rivka said was just amazing. If you haven't seen the video, it's the first video that you can see on Rivka's channel, and so I'm gonna link it right here.
Not in a bad way.
Oh.
Like, that wasn't an insult. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
that's I know. I was actually very impressed with that, because if someone can say sorry quickly and wants to address it quickly, I think an instant communicator, your life is easier with instant communicators. It's the people that don't want to that's more difficult.
Yeah. And then I'm kind of like that. So I grew up, my childhood. Well, you learn this from childhood, I guess, and then other life experiences. But I had a mom that ran immediately, like no resolution ever from conflict that I ever saw. It's just she would go and she'd run away for a few days at a time. Now,
Wasn't she getting beat to hell by her partners? So there's no grace for you as an adult to see that series of events and know that there's trauma there. And now that you've resolved, great. You're holding on and making this a generality about how the world works from this, but isn't it logical to say if someone is being abused and they are trying to get to safety, then that might be a very strong neurologic pathway in their brain that gets them. They're trying to get to they're trying to get to safety, so they avoid things. Oh my gosh, Lynn, what is happening? Thank you. We're gonna take a kazoo break. We're gonna do welcome first.
I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to Illyria. Welcome, 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 welcome to Illyria.
Welcome. We need kazoos now.
Kazoo!
And thank you, Lynn. That's super generous. Carolyn got a membership. B got a membership. I think Coconuts got a membership. I don't know who else got a membership, but thanks to Lynn. Glad I made it here. I have a bout of insomnia. Will listen as I try to fall asleep. Guess you got paid spreading love, kazoos, and potatoes. If you got a membership, you have special emotes, and I hope you enjoy them.
no, I don't do that. But when I'm if I'm
Thank you,
really
Lynn.
hot, like, I'm going somewhere. Like, I've left my phone here and I've just left and gone. And I come back after a few, like an hour or so, but I don't want to text. I don't want to call you yet. I'm mad. Right. And I don't want to say anything that's super disrespectful or, because I just know I'm a fast texter. I'm like, I might say some crazy things and regret them later, which I've sent text.
Did you regret the anti-Semitic things that you said about Avi? No. I don't see the regret there.
Text where I'm like, God, I was so mean. What am I doing? And I'll say it, but I'm so sorry. I hate that I was that mean. But so I've had to compromise and speed up my process of anger and going into communication. And then,
Because it's better.
yeah, but he's also realized, like, we had one really, really big, like, holy smokes, I think in January or something like that, January, February. And he wanted me on FaceTime for like an hour. And I kept saying, I am hanging up this phone. Like, it was, it was like, I don't want to look at you. So it's that compromise of that. But we get through conflict quickly because we know the value of the relationship. So even if that's an hour of me driving around and listening to music or sitting in a parking lot or, whatever, getting food or I went to the movies one time. He didn't like that.
What? Hold on, let me mute. Sorry, my mom needs something. I'm just going to get to the 50-minute mark.
But I didn't like what he was doing either. You know, we always come home. We always have conversations right away. We're not going to bed angry. We're not fighting each other. We're not screaming back and forth. There's none of that. It's even in our conflict, we're super respectful towards each other, because we understand. Look, it's two people with completely different backgrounds coming together in their mid 30s. We have a whole life and a lot of life experiences and a lot of things behind us, that have taught us to be who we are. But it's the communication and knowing that what you have is worth it. So the question is always, is it worth fighting for? Well, if the answer is yes, then open your mouth and talk about it. Because I've told him, like, not in a bad way. I've been like, I'm not a mind reader, communicate.
Yeah.
And so.
And you said a couple things in there that are super, super important for anybody that's dating a relationship or you want to be successful. You have to know your triggers. You have to know when you are triggered and not go to your old pattern of just what you react. That is the kiss of death in a relationship. And even if you get to the point that you recognize it, that's a step in the right direction. You recognize it and you keep your mouth shut and you go, where is this coming from? And then you work on addressing that. You have to. And also the other piece that you said is like, you have a mom, your blueprint that you're shown is she leaves, up and out, bye. And when that is your blueprint, that's what you've been given. If you go back, we all need to go back and look at our childhoods and what was shown to us. Does that serve you? And is that the way you want to continue being in relationships?
Right.
So you guys just agreed to say, okay, I love that you said, is this worth fighting for? Yeah.
Is this worth fighting for when your boyfriend is still married to his wife and they are working through a divorce and he has 3 kids?
Yeah, you literally need to decide if it's worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's I mean, every relationship you'll have arguments, you'll have some disagreements, but the question is like what you do with that. So if you fight with this and playing games and make faces for a couple of days, it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Fix it right away. There is a problem, let's fix it, let's solve it, okay, move on.
Mm-hmm. And to talk about it and have your strategy. So if yours is instant, Avi, like let's talk about it right now. And Jessie Lee, you're like, whenever I get around to it, but you guys are compromising. You're seeing each other's side. Like, I need a little bit of time away and then I'm going to be back and then we're going to talk through it. But it's important to have those conversations when you're not heated. How are you going to handle
it for a minute? Because I know I'm just going to go ballistic.
Yeah.
and I've never yelled, but oh no, that's not true. I for sure screamed.
I've never yelled. Oh, for sure that's not true. I've screamed.
Screamed at you one time. It's the first time I've ever yelled at someone in my life.
That's a lie. That is a lie. That's a lie. That is a lie. That's a lie. Oh my God. Let me print this out real quick for my mom. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I want to print this out for my mom so she has it. I hope that it is. Okay.
Was
Really?
this man? I've never yelled at anyone ever.
You're special, Avi. You got it.
Would your first husband say the same thing? Would your boyfriend, Vic, say the same thing? Would your boyfriend that you were in a serious relationship with, that we're not going to mention his name out of respect for him, say the same thing? Would the people on the Zoom call that you yelled at because no one what was a $1 million earner and you were embarrassed, or would those people say the same thing? We've heard her in live streams.
You're special.
Especially
Oh, I was cussing him out. I was doing the most. Like I was being like it wasn't my finest hour, but it wasn't his finest hour. So
It wasn't my finest hour, but I was provoked, so it wasn't really my fault. Another example of someone not taking accountability for their behavior.
you know,
And then how did you resolve it?
yeah, it was a lot. It was communication. It was
Empty words, empty words, empty words.
Actually, it was a boundaries conversation more than anything, if we're being honest. So there were, in my opinion, just conversations you would never have with somebody. I was like, this is absolutely crossing a boundary in a relationship. And like, not like people are going to go, oh, was he cheating? No, like it's just not worth getting into the whole like rigmarole of everything that happened. But
Maybe because you found out that he was married?
I didn't like the messages I saw. I didn't like any of it. Right. And so
He's
we just had a
still
conversation
on
around this
Bumble?
can't happen again.
Mhm.
Like, this is so disrespectful to me. I don't like how I feel when this is happening. And so anything like this or in this, like if something doesn't change with this, then I can't move forward. And I mean, it wasn't even like hours. It was days and days and days of not angry, but just communication. And also he had to be so open about a situation that was for him, I'm sure, embarrassing in ways.
That you were still married?
Made him feel like less than a man in some ways, and is like one of his most vulnerable spots of his entire life. And so instead of
That he abandoned his family? Is that the most vulnerable spot of your life?
me knowing, let's call it 70% of a situation, that forced him to tell me 100% of everything, whether he was ready to tell me or not, which he was. It was fine, but it was culture differences. It was a whole like perfect storm of everything. But honestly, through that, really, it was our only big like crazy anything really. But through that, I mean, we became way stronger.
Mhm. That's exactly what I was going to say. When you do those types of things, when you have those situations, and initially in the beginning, it's super hard to say,
I'm still married, and I didn't. She. I'm guessing that she didn't know because she filed for a divorce, and that's public record. The way that we are seeing this situation twist is wild. I think that it is a good place to stop for tonight. We should be able to finish the rest on the next episode of The Perfect Adulterous Scandal, which is not what this episode is called. You know what this episode is called? And I just get so mad knowing that this episode is called this. It's called, let's see, show info. Okay, I can't show info. Where the hell is it? Someone just messaged me. Hold on. It is called Lyfe. Well, we'll read it again for you. And
We'll do it in baby snark so that we can have a light, positive outro for this YouTube stream. Episode 24. Happy Couple Spotlight. Jessie Lee and Aviram. By Lyfe Reinvented. And no, life is not spelled how you think it is spelled. Lyfe Reinvented. Episode 24. And Jessie Lee is the #1 network marketer in the world and is now Vice President of Field Development and Performance for Pruvit, a worldwide company. Aviram is a successful contractor providing dream homes to the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area. The power they have in the field is nothing compared to the power they have when they're together. Aviram and Jessie Lee's love knows no bounds, especially his marriage license. Oh, it doesn't say that. Ooh. From traveling the world together to a life-altering diagnosis, they have a love that I'm honored to be able to share. If you're searching to enhance your own relationship or need a I can't read. If you're seeking to enhance your own relationship or need a little inspiration to keep looking for the right one, this week's episode is another one to add to your life toolbox. Statistic. Many people accept the fact that half of all first marriages end in divorce, 67% of second marriages end, and 73% of third marriages end. So we are here to do our part to lower those statistics by sharing stories and advice on how to create lasting love. And here we have on this episode a relationship that I am holding up as an example to all. A man who is married to someone else and is dating Jessie Lee Ward. And here's my description. Okay, we're going to go over here. Where we're going to go over right here. Oh God, pause. Here we go. It's true. Jessie Lee and Aviram's love for each other knows no bounds, even those set by Aviram's current marital status. Their story is so captivating that they were chosen for the Happy Couple Spotlight on the Lyfe Reinvented podcast with host Traci Porterfield. However, as an adulterous relationship, this unconventional romance has certainly reinvented their lives, but perhaps not for the better.
I think that was a good way. And here is the donation link. I think that's a good way to end this part of. Lynn is sharing the link. I'm going to edit the live and put it in this. I'm going to put it in the link for the live in this stream and in the stream yesterday, so that everyone can donate, edit, watch the first stream, and then I'm going to put the donate link at the top. Donate to help support Avi's abandoned wife. I don't know. I don't know how to say this. GoFund to support. What is it? What is the GoFund? Like, what do I say? Like I'm not trying to make it seem like, let's see. I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh, help mom of 3 to stand on her feet. That's what I'm going to do. Help mom of 3 to stand on her feet. And there's the link. Copy link. That's so long. Where's the short GoFundMe link? I'm sorry guys, I'm trying. I'm just struggling. Nightbot, can you help me? There we go. There we go. There's a short one. Supporting Avi's wife he abandoned. Right? That's good. I don't know. Save. Let me go back. And we're going to go edit this one. I just want to make sure everything's linked correctly. the next stream we'll be able to get through the whole thing. This is an 1.5 hour episode, and I don't even know. Edit. Paste. So I put the GoFund link in the last video and in this video, and hopefully more people will find it. Y'all, thanks for hanging out. I hope that you take some time for yourselves, grab a snack, decompress, wear comfy clothes, pet your floof. Sending so much love to y'all who have recently lost your beloved floofs, and I'll catch you on the next live stream.